I mean, there are a lot of island activities that have become a kind of a feature every year. Also, this Saturday is the Cherry Blossom Festival. It's always been down in that part of the island, but this year not so. The road team is going out to install utilities, so it's up at the park. But there are all these programs that have been traditionally down in that area of the woods that will be restored once we have access to it. And one thing that occurred to me that's been discussed when we were talking about building some sort of pavilion, I was thinking in terms of more of a bandstand rather than a photo. That would simply be a center for performance, for getting out of the rain, but not obtrusive, not something so enormous that it takes over the green. Just the green is essential.
Go ahead.
I just want to add, I mean, it's part of this process. I think that one thing that we haven't mentioned that's been the same reason consideration is the programmatic needs the island has for what the use of Southpoint Park is. Because it's great to be talking about elements and whatnot, but there's recently launched for this conversation about, I mean, to tack on the past to say, what if there's going to be a programmatic plan for the use of the property for educational purposes, historical purposes, or for the arts.
Okay, and I think that's something we can get into as we move along, particularly when we start with the concept.
Yeah.
Actually, okay.
I'm also thinking that it would be nice if the park has the ability to change, so that it's not set in stone and designed once and for all, but there are maybe some mobile structures that can take different spots and new each time.
Like, wasn't the Hudson Yards has a retractable space? So it's like a caterpillar awning that is out for rain, but then it's back to that open air. That flexibility.
It has to freshness.
Whatever. But be natural.
Judy?
No, my only other thing, considering the biggest problem with down there is utilities. We have no utilities, and unless we build this in as a basic concept that you can plug in without pulling 6 generators, or a cord extension from Cornell, doesn't work. It doesn't work.
A good thing.
You know, before we do the word out, if you don't mind, I thought I would open it up just to see if anyone from the public had any comments or questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a comment regarding the pavilion that Matt spoke about a few minutes ago. I've been involved with the committee that was working on this pavilion. It's called Pavilion on Roosevelt Island Quarry. And it is, there's already architectural design drawn up. A lot of years of work has gone into this. And Breyer itself endorsed the idea in October 2013 in the form of a resolution, which was delivered to RIAC at that point. However, RIAC has not made a decision on allocating the land that's needed to build the pavilion, which is why, almost 3 years later, we're still talking about the pavilion. Now, in July of 2014, there was a real estate development advisory committee meeting with RIAC 1 over at the Legacy School. And at that time, we heard, in fact, I don't know if you're aware of this as yet, we heard from Mr. Kraut, a Black board member, that Southpoint Park is constructed upon a toxic waste dump, sort of a repository of toxic waste substances. And there is a plastic membrane on top of it, and on top of that, the soil was added so that you could have a park. Now, that's all well and good. I know this is how toxic waste dumps are remediated all over the place. There's nothing wrong with that. However, he gave that as the reason as to why the pavilion could not be built, because they do not want to disturb the membrane. Now, that's all well and good. However, when you think about it, you don't want to disturb the toxic substances, but you don't know how bad it is to possibly disturb them, because nobody has ever told us what is in that toxic waste dump. Sometimes they even include radioactive substances. So I'm asking you, if possible, or RIAC, to reveal to us at some point, both to your agency, your consultancy, and to the public, exactly what is within that toxic waste dump.
We will take that under advisement. Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Go ahead.
us to lose sight of the fact that this is first and foremost primarily for the residents of this island. If anybody else wants to come, that's fine, but when I see words like commercial enterprises and to attract lots of visitors and all, that's part two. We're not keeping anybody out, but we're not there to make money. We're there for everybody who lives on the island to be able to take part. And I think it'd be wonderful if you had some more sessions like this with anybody from the public who wants to come and do the same brainstorming, because the pop-up things and the market and plug-in things, it's not the same as sitting around and interacting like this. So I would strongly suggest with the big time frame between now and October or July or whatever it was, that you get the rest of the public involved.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments? Go ahead.
There's not a lot of shade in the Southpoint Park, so provision for more shade. And also some type of access to the water for kayaks or something type.
Okay, we did have something about getting to the shore. Okay. All right, any other questions or comments? All right, we'll come back to the committee, but first, you want to do this?
Sure, yeah, and this is what we've heard from you.
Want to explain how this works?
Yes.
Oops.
No, it does that right. It gives you a little bit of a heart attack before it comes on. There we go. So basically what it does is every time anybody circled special events, I wrote special events. So special events, it was in there 5 times, whereas 10 people circled scenic viewpoints. And so the size of the word or phrase is proportional to how many times somebody circled it. And so again, this is not meant to be some very serious exercise where now we're going to go out and have a whole plan just focus on scenic viewpoints, but it just is a fun way to sort of get a snapshot of what you all are thinking, of what your initial reactions are when you look at a list, when you circle. And so it's, again, just a snapshot of what we are hearing from you tonight. Does this surprise anybody, or is there anything on here that you're like, oh wow, I can't believe that's very big, or where do my words go?
Are you, Mary, I get the impression that that was.
Yes.
What one?
They've done this before, this is very well thought out, actually.
Actually, Mary's done this. Good. And when we put it on the website, we'll be able to print out. You'll see some of these really small words,
Yeah.
which I can't even read
You
right
read
now.
the small ones, right? And yeah, exactly. As somebody said, the one sort of one thing I don't actually like about this is that I do want to say, just because your word is small does not mean is not actually being viewed by us. We will publish the full list of everything that everybody circled. It's just a snapshot.
Is there any difference between the vertical and horizontal?
No, and I can actually change it so that it's all, and that actually is a good point. Maybe I should before put it on the website.
No, because I was thinking that the natural conservation is actually almost as big as place to relax, but it looks smaller because you have to turn your head through it.
And this is the western side of the That's what we have in mind. Okay.
So, and so now we just want to tell you a little bit about what's around the bend. Some of the next steps that, again, a little bit of heart attack, well, thinks about whether it wants to, there we go. And some of the things that are around the bend and that are going to be coming up in the next few weeks. As we mentioned, the pop-up outreach meetings. We are going to ask all of you to please tell your friends and family that we're going to be at those events. We really, really want to see as many people as possible. And while we know that we've identified these events as ones that people are going to be attending and do have a lot of community members there, we also are going to be relying on you to let people know, hey, you know that meeting I went to the other night? They're actually going to be at the farmers market this Saturday. You should go stop by. We also are going to be putting up the online survey shortly, so we will be notifying all of you. Hopefully you've chosen to sign up to our mailing list, so we will let you know by email that it's up, but we'll also have it on the website, so if you just want to casually check out the website. progress on that, and we are going to be telling everybody what we find during the meetings. Definitely making those findings public. Absolutely, yeah, so, thank you. You just led that. So then the planning and design shred is going to be in late July. We'll let everybody know when that date is set. And what that is, and thank you, Monica, actually, for mentioning this as well. It's a full day that will be set up. We'll have different activities throughout the day. We'll let everybody know exactly what this day will entail in the agenda so that you know, ooh, I see they're doing this from 9 to 10. I'm going to make sure to stop by then.
What would be an example?
I don't know.
Well, maybe we can talk about vegetation or
maybe we'll look at, okay, during this hour, we're going to be really focusing a lot on like our public art opportunities, our programming. For this hour, we probably will hope to encourage everybody to come. We'll have a wrap up at the end of the day that will actually be a compilation of everything heard during the day. So we would definitely encourage everybody who stopped by to come back later on. But it's going to be basically a working session where we're going to be inviting everybody to come sit down with us and really kind of dig into the details and brainstorm with us and kind of put pen to paper, be drawing on maps. We're going to come to this event, obviously prepared, but specifically with things that concept plans that we've started to develop, very, very draft, very preliminary, just to get everybody thinking, to hear what your reactions are, to see, is this in the right direction? Is this in the right direction? What do you think? Yeah, of course.
Has anybody brought up that that park was actually designed to be just a park and wild green rooms was basically?
Yeah.
And that's what we chose, and we chose it because we have no more parks to actually use this way.
And we went over that briefly.
And that's community law.
Yes, and very supportive. It sounds like you were probably involved in it and saw that come to fruition. We did go over that, and thank you for mentioning that, because we do want to say that while we are talking about these different ideas, these different programming ideas and things like this, this is going to be a park. There's no plan to make it otherwise. We want to preserve this as a space for the community. What we're looking at in this project is what that means. Does it mean that you want to keep it as sort of more of a less program, place with amenities? Right. And so again,
this is what we're going to get into during the course of the study. Your ideas, the public's ideas.
Right, absolutely. And so after the planning and design trip, we'll be having, before the planning and design trip, that bullet should be above that, we're going to be having our next community advisory meeting. If you aren't able to attend, we encourage you to send an alternate in your place, but as we've talked about tonight, we'll be posting all the agendas, all the presentations on our website, so they can review the material and let us know if you have any questions of if something didn't make sense, or if you have comments on what was discussed.
Part of the reason for meeting with this committee before we do that, Sherette, is to give you sort of a preview of what we're thinking about doing and to hear your comments on that if you think maybe we're missing something there, we should focus on something else. So that's the reason we want to have that next meeting before we have that, Sherette. And we'll also be able to, there'll be information on the website telling you what we learned at the pop-up meetings coming in May and June. So we'll have summaries there too. So please feel free to tell us things.
People are very, very active on this island, and have you locked those dates down? Because early July or July 4th, or do you know these dates yet? It'd be really great to have all these people already know they can't go, or they can just send in reps, or...
Right, we don't have those dates locked in. We'll try to do that as soon as we can, but I think we need to get through a few more weeks of our work. And I know there's a lot of events going on, and people take vacations.
I've seen a lot of people on this island that wear several hats and are very involved with things, and just the sooner the better. I mean, we're planning out, we're already
for example, the school ends end of June, so many of us who have families might be traveling after that. So if, for example, it would be a possibility instead of early July to say late June, it might, depending on the situation. Of
Yeah, and believe me, when we do these kinds of things, we try to avoid summertime. So we'll take a look at that, and we have to look at where we're at, what we're learning. So we can't promise anything, but we're definitely learning.
For what it's worth, also, when we first were sort of laying down our dates and thinking, we were thinking, okay, well, we'll probably want this many months between this many months between this. We had, when we first looked at it, that meant that the planning and design trips was going to fall smack in the middle of August, which is probably the worst month to do it, where everybody's, or many people seem to take vacations in August. So, you know, we are keeping it in mind, and hopefully we'll be able to get as many people there as possible.
Yeah, it occurs to me that June 11th is Roosevelt Island Day, it's our continuing annual event. There's communities out on the street right in front of that. Various organizations.
We're gonna have a booth there.
You're going to have
Yes.
a-
That's one of the pop-up days.
Right. That's one of our days, and I'll just go back to that so you can see that. The 3 days that we have right now for our smaller meetings are coming up May 14th, Farmers Market, May 21st at the bike giveaway, which is under the ramp, and at Roosevelt Island Day. I'm not sure where we're going to be or what it will include, but, which is unfortunate. I mean, timing would work best if we could have something around the time, the whole charrette. But I don't think we're going to be far. I'm pretty sure we're going to be far. Right?
Is there any